What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Smart Money Sundays. Hope you're doing well. I got about 9 or 10 pairs-ish to go over today, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Hopefully you guys caught Nate's final live session on Trading Nuts YouTube channel yesterday. If you didn't, the recording should be up there, and he typically covers more of the crosses and the exotics, and I typically cover more on the major side of things. And sorry if I sound weird today, guys. My allergies are blaring at the moment, so I don't really feel too great. But nevertheless, Euro USD as usual. Now this one, remind you, overall higher time frame, right? We are still making higher highs and higher lows, right? The higher low, higher high. Price traded into our last point of return here, right? Which we had taken a trade off of quite a while back, mid-March. And then proceeded to create a new high. All right, and so now we've been kind of retracing. The markets have been really, really slow and choppy the last few weeks as price has traded down into discounted price. Now you'll recall I also talked about magnetizing price into our previous gap, right? Our previous gap. Oftentimes these gaps serve as critical, critical and sensitive price points, right? Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my voice right now, but for price to react off of. Let me drink some water. Gosh. Sorry about that, guys. For price to react off of, right? So we traded into that 1.068 threshold that I talked about a couple of weeks ago on our previous Smart Money Sundays episode. And we had a pretty strong reaction off of that level. However, on Friday, we did close pretty strongly on the bear side. So I'm not yet convinced, that price is going to create that higher low. And so, just because we have one strong push higher doesn't mean, we're actually shifting structure and going to start creating those higher highs and higher lows again. Now, it is a good thing that, we had that reaction off of a higher time frame area of interest. And so now, for the here and now, what I'd be looking for personally is a higher low and a higher high to print. That way we have one drive cycle, two drive cycle, right? And then we can catch it on the third drive cycle, the most highly probable setup, right? That would give me that added confirmation and conviction behind buying Euro USD, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't be surprised if we did make another pass at the lows before seeing that big shift. All right. And so, if there is a POI, if you were an aggressive trader, right, and you're treating this as a break and looking for the pullback to continue, obviously we're trading into a down close now, but it's market open. This is also a pool of sell side liquidity, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was run out, right, and maybe we traded deeper into something like this, right, around 1.06800. Right, and get that reaction from there. All right, but personally, I'll be looking for a higher low and a higher high to print, and then I'll be more inclined to take that long position to continue with the overall trend. Now, GBPUSD had an extremely bullish week last week, right? And this one has actually come up and created relative equal highs here, right prior to our point of interest that we had from the beginning of May, that 45-minute up close, right? And we have created these relative equal highs as a nice draw on buy-side liquidity. And so I actually, on GBPUSD, will be looking for long continuations into that liquidity pool, right? So that does give added confidence behind Euro USD, but again, you can't just take correlation as your sole confluence for something like Euro USD. All right, so GBPUSD, I certainly want to see these highs run out and for price to at least trade into 1.2570 where our POI is. And naturally, you can see we have our down close candle here that we are trading into at the moment. And again, it's market open, right? And this is a lower time frame, higher low. Potential inducement for price to run out, right? In here, right? And potentially trade deeper into something like this. All right, so we'll just have to wait and see where price is around London session open, if not New York session open. We did have a really nice trade opportunity last week on GU, right, with the down close running out, ascending liquidity, right, a nice impulsive move higher, retracement, discount, continuation. That was a beautiful setup. So congrats if you caught that one. All right, but we are trading into a potential area now. You'd have to really see some sort of London session reaction, sell to buy, break, continue, or alternatively, we run out this low here, right? Trade deeper and then look for that opportunity up into our highs here. All right. So that's GU. AU is also kind of aligning. All right, we had that strong push last week. Now, if we look at the higher time frames, all right, we have traded into an overall area of demand. All right, this big down close here, right before that big bullish move. I was looking at 6440. We didn't quite get that, and we still could, right? But we've had a very strong reaction. And again, just because we have a strong reaction doesn't mean we can't just railroad right back down, take out the low, and trade into deeper discount. Right? That's always on the cards. You can't get fooled by just impulsive moves out of nowhere. Right? Doesn't mean it can't work out. Doesn't mean we can't pull back and trade higher up into supply. But overall, I still think that likely this is not the low in the market, and that we will take that low out ultimately, trading deeper into 6440. And then obviously we have our final daily down close candle here at 6370. All right. But if there is a potential opportunity this week for a counter trend trade, right, and you are a kind of more aggressive, riskier trader, then certainly, here's our area of demand. All right, I'm just going to be watching this as a POI as we approach it, right, looking for that sell to buy off that POI, right, the reaction, and then that would be added confirmation to trade deeper into supply up into our supply zone, right, up into market structure, the lower high where we had the liquidity run that produced the lower low. Right? And then we could easily produce another lower high and another lower low. All right. So that's what I'm looking at there in terms of the narrative on AUD USD. Now, if we look at USD CAD, this one is indicative of kind of what we've seen on the dollar, right? Kind of indecision, right? Range bound, right? This is just kind of stuck in this higher time frame range at the moment. A couple touches on either side. Right. Overall, if we step back like we did a couple of weeks ago, we have nice pools of sell-side liquidity resting here. We have our equal lows here, and we have our overall area of supply here coming in 1321, even 1.3050, this last daily down close before the massive engulfing move that produced the higher high. Right. So ultimately, I want to see this dollar weakness. I'm wanting to see the weakness. I'm just hesitant at the moment, right? Just because of the nature of price action over the last couple of weeks. I'm just being cautious until we get some clean wave play. All right, but this one, again, like I said, overall, the narrative, in my opinion, is bearish until we get down into these deeper discounted levels. And so I will be looking for excuses to sell USD CAD, right? And I think the current objective, now that we've come up deep into this area of supply where we had that liquidity run, and we've had that very strong bearish expansionary move. My opinion is that we're going to be seeking out the liquidity resting beneath these lows. Right? And so if that's the case with this strong move, I don't necessarily expect us to have a steep retracement. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see price simply trade up into kind of the 1.351 threshold, right? This previous low here. Get a nice trickle, little intraday retracement up into there. That would be great for an overall continuation down into those aforementioned lows. All right, so let's watch out for that level there on UCAD. Keep in mind, however, we are kind of higher time frame ranging, and so we would be playing in the middle of the range. So it would be really nice to see a reaction there. All right, instead of just placing a limit and sending up a prayer. All right, USD JPY. Overall, the yen pairs are obviously still extremely bullish, like we've been talking about for a while. We have some nice highs to run out, some nice wicks, buy-side liquidity. We did trade into this area of demand here, this down close before boom, bullish engulfing, created that new high, traded into that last week. All right, we actually caught a couple easy little sell opportunities down into that. But nevertheless, we're breaking higher. We have that impulsive move to close out last week. And so I'm naturally looking for quick retracements intraday to buy this thing. And I'm looking at this 45-minute area of supply. If we can kind of refill these wicks kind of into 139.40 into 139.20, that would be great in my opinion for overall continuations with the higher time frame trend and momentum. Right, as simple as that. All right, GBP Swiss franc obviously has had a bullish last couple of weeks, but again, overall in the higher time frame, we're kind of stuck in this kind of descending channel, in my opinion, corrective channel, right, for another bullish expansion. And we have traded up into this wick here, which ran out just barely previous high. Right, so we traded into that, left a nice wick last week. We've seen a kind of pullback, a retreat from the bulls to close out last week. And so I think at least if we are going to continue and kind of break out of this, we need to trade into at least our area of demand here, which you can see on multiple time frames looks very clean. That last area of demand traded into a wick here, had the reaction, right? Bear bull battle, the bulls win, massive engulfing candlestick, this flips to potential demand, right? And so I think if we are to continue, price does need to trade into that, right? And so there certainly is a potential bearish counter trend opportunity off of our up close here, right? So if we do push higher, right, wouldn't be surprised to see kind of an ABC corrective move, or 1, 2, 3 drive cycle correction continuation type of situation there, right? So let's watch out for that, right, with the overall understanding that this is our more critical level. Swiss franc, Japanese yen, not really anything on this at the moment. I just wanted to point out the level that I called out a couple of weeks. Just go back to the previous Smart Money Sundays episode, 152.50, right? Remember I called that out, right? And hit that to the T. Perfect wick entry. Just doesn't get any better than that, guys. It's not just guessing, right? I didn't just guess this very specific price point where it was going to wick and react from. Anyway, we're seeing that push higher, that break higher. And so I will be looking for, again, really kind of across the board on the yen pairs, excuses to continue to buy, right? Very simple, right? Overall bullish, not a high in the market here. Draw on buy side liquidity. All right, AJ is another one that I called out beautifully. All right, beautiful reaction here, beautiful trade. Obviously, our Funded Traders Club, VIP members, we all took this very simple trade. We had those nice, clean, equal highs. We had the ascending liquidity here, right? Engineered, run out, sell to buy, continuation up through that pool of liquidity. And so that TP has been hit. So congrats if you caught that one as well. So almost positive. Actually, in fact, I am positive I called this out on the previous Smart Money Sundays episode as well. All right, so we're just giving out free stuff here, guys. Free money every single week. You just got to pay attention. Even if you can't necessarily afford the private mentorship or everything else we've got going on, at least tune into the free stuff because there's so much value that's given out week in, week out for you guys. All right, so beautiful, beautiful trade there on AJ. Couple hundred pips, nice high risk to reward. I think this one can continue at least through these highs as well. All right, so just wanted to point that one out as well. And the final one I wanted to touch upon today, guys, is EuroCAD. All right, after an extremely strong bullish run, we are seeing that kind of shift in momentum, right? Once an objective is met, they flip immediately to the next objective. And if you just have eyes, right, you can see we have really clean pools of sell side liquidity that they're very clearly seeking out. Okay, and so until those are met, since we firmly believe that that is the current objective, we're going to sell retracements, right? If we don't get the retracements, oh well, so be it, right? But I'm currently just looking at the lower time frames because if the objective is that strong, they're not really going to see there's no real need to push much higher, right? We're just simply, so oftentimes when you see these trickling moves that just continue and continue, it's because they have an objective that they care more about than having a higher time frame retracement, right? And so in this instance, I think if we can just kind of run this out, trade up into our flip zone here before running out those equal lows, that would be a great area for an intraday short, high RR potential opportunity with a strong conviction for our targets. All right, so 1.4500 is that overall whole number, round number POI that I'm looking at selling on down into our liquidity pool. All right, guys. So that wraps it up for what I'm looking at the moment, kind of the overall narrative. Again, if you're more so interested in some of the exotics like Euro AUD, AUD CAD, like crosses, AUD NZD, and things of that nature, be sure to watch the recording of Nate's live stream from yesterday morning. He always drops tons of value. He does like 2-hour sessions on Saturday mornings as well. So it's good to be back. Sorry my voice didn't sound great today. I'm just under the weather. Alabama allergies is what it is. But we'll be in touch throughout the week. VIP will be sending you guys live updates as we go. All right, thanks guys. Have a great week and safe trading.